Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Wednesday Wisdom. My name is JB Hilliard, and these are weekly video snippets of information designed to answer questions you may have about estate planning or probate or other legal concerns that are out there. And for this week's edition, I wanted to briefly just share a few tips or suggestions if you ever find yourself in the middle of or a party to a small claims case. And so when you go to small claims court, and here in Georgia, those types of cases are handled by what's called our magistrate court in the different counties. Those courts are designed to be or set up to be the people's court. Like for those of you who remember that court show from years ago, and then they kind of rebooted it or revived it here in recent years. Excuse me. But the people's court is designed for those litigants or those parties who uh, basically represent themselves. So you don't necessarily have to have an attorney to help with that particular type of case, although there are some attorneys who do. But it's designed, or was initially the intent was for those who could not or would not have an attorney to represent them. And so, my tip for you today for this week's edition of Wednesday Wisdom is simply this: even though it's designed for pro se litigants, for people without attorneys, you should still go in there prepared. And by prepared, I mean, first of all, know, show up to court. There are some who I continue to observe these hearings, and parties do not show up. So you want to not take this lightly when you get that hearing notice or when you get that trial notice to be there, be present, but mainly be prepared. And by that I mean, if you're the plaintiff, the one bringing the case or bringing the claim or charging the other person for some breach of contract or for some breach of something, you want to have questions prepared that you're going to ask that person. You want to have your facts straight, have your dates straight. So have a timeline. And in today's environment of meeting online or having hearings still virtually, you can have that information in front of you. But don't say, well, if a judge is asking you how much does this person owe you, don't say, well, I think it's about $2,000, or I think it's about $500, or I think it's about 10,000. You should have that information readily available. You should know it uh, exactly, because the judge is trying to figure out how to rule. And if you want that judge to rule in your favor, you should be as exact and as precise as possible. Now, there may be some cases that date back years, and so you don't necessarily remember all the details, but definitely have as much written down or committed to memory. But I say don't rely on your memory if you're anything like me, but have as much documented as you can and speak to those facts. Don't guess, and don't try to make it up as you go, or go on the fly, or think that your charm and personality is going to win the judge over. The judge is ruling according to facts and according to evidence being presented. And if you're on the other side of that, same applies. If you're the defendant in a case that's a claim is being brought against you, again, have your facts written down. If you know you paid this person, don't say, well, I think I paid around the first, and then I paid again. It might have been $200 around the 10th or the 15th, something like that. No, the judge doesn't go with something like that. You need to know what you paid, or uh, what your defense is. You need to present those as facts. Present the factual information, and be sure and be confident. And that way, the judge can make an informed decision when everybody is presenting information that's detailed and that's more to the point, and not guesses, not speculations, not, whatever, or. No, the judge doesn't know. You need to know. So present your case in that fashion. Make sure you have prepared questions to ask. Make sure you have prepared yourself to answer questions. You can hopefully observe some previous or ongoing cases before yours comes up on the docket, or just go on YouTube and pull up, maybe not necessarily in your jurisdiction, but you could certainly pull up other areas, other jurisdictions who have these similar types of cases, and get a feel for what types of questions are asked and how they're answered, and know what to do and what not to do. So that's my tip for this week. I hope that's helpful for any of you finding yourself having to go to the people's court. Is not necessarily what you see on TV, but it does make for some entertaining times if you're not having to be a party to the proceedings. So be prepared. You can never be too prepared, but you can definitely be underprepared, and that can definitely make an impact on whether or not you win your case. So with that said, I thank you for watching as always, and we'll see you next time.